Hello, hello. Paul Brock here. Hey, how's it going, guys? Today's lesson is going to be all about beginning guitar, first three chords. For all you guys that just got a guitar and you're not sure what to do with it, or maybe you're trying some things and it's not working out, today we're going to make it easy right now. Here we go. Okay, so a lot of guitar teachers want to start with, a C chord or whatever, and that's cool and all. I mean, you got to know how to play C, okay? But the thing I find is that a lot of students start off. You learn chords, but then you're like, what do I do with them? And getting your fingers on the chord is actually the easy part. The next challenge is getting to where you can, switch from one chord to another. So what I like to do in lesson one is always three chords, and we're going to make it easy, okay? We're going to do C. I'm sorry, excuse me. We're not going to do C, man. We're going to do G, Cadd9, and D. And there's a really good reason for changing that C to a Cadd9, and I'm going to show you. So right now I'm going to show you how to play G, Cadd9, and D. Billions of songs with those three chords, and like a billion more with a couple extra chords, but they still have those three. So here's what we're going to do. First off, we're going to make sure we know how to play the chords, okay? And so the first chord is going to be G, okay? And I'm assuming you already know like what your strings are and, what fingers are what, and, basically. And if you don't, you're about to get it right now. So here goes. I'm going to put this little camera right up here on my left hand for a second so we can get some close-ups, right? So for a G chord, that's going to be this note, two open strings in the middle, and then you're going to have these two over here on strings 1 and 2, right? So the way this is going to lay out is usually I tell people go ahead and just like stick the last two fingers, your third and fourth fingers, okay, right there on strings 1 and 2 on fret number 3, okay? And then we're going to skip. Take the second finger and we're going to go way over here on the other side of the guitar and get that big string on the 3rd fret as well. The last thing we got to do is put that index finger on this 2nd fret of string 5. And that leaves the 2 strings in the middle open. Okay? That is our G chord. So again, I'm putting these two here. Okay? This is going way over there. And then this is going next to it on fret number 2. And that's your G chord. Okay? And all you got to do is just strum it lightly. Just make sure it sounds like that. If you go through it should sound pretty much like that. That sounds pretty good. Okay? Now, the next chord is going to be Cadd9. Okay, and we only have to do like a couple of things. Okay, first thing is we're going to take that little finger and give it a rest. We're going to get that out of there. Okay, then we're going to take fingers 1 and 2 and we're going to just move them over 1 string each. And that's it, man. That's it. You're there. Just don't play the big string if at all possible. Okay. Now, a little pro tip, right? Is that still a thing? Pro tip? Okay. Fun fact, whatever. Second finger, right? Because I don't want to hear this string, right? I'm going to let the tip, just the tip, the edge, the side, the whatever, the unused part of my second finger is going to bump the side of that big string so that if my pick hits it, that's all I'm going to get. So then I can still relax and just strum, right? Now, the reason that we chose Cadd9 is because we don't have to move that third finger. And that's what makes this so easy, and you can get on to playing some songs, you know, pretty quick, all right? Okay, so we got those. And, you know, if you need to stop the video and check yourself, that's cool. You know, when you're ready, come back, and we're going to get to the next chord now, which is D. Okay? So to get D, here's the best way to think about D. Your third finger is going to stay right where it is. You know, thank God, right? Your index finger, all it has to do is move one string further to string 3. Still on fret number 2. And then the best way to think about moving your second finger is bend your second finger a lot, like that. And then that sucker winds up on string 1 on fret number 2. So you wind up with fingers 1 and 2 on the second fret, skipping that string in between because your third finger's got that one, right? And now we're going to try to play just 4 strings. Really don't want to hit the big one, okay? If you hit string 5, it's okay. It's not optimal all the time. Sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's kind of not okay, but it's still a note that is in the chord already, okay? I know you're new. We're not going to get into that. Just trust me, okay? So here's D with 4 strings. Here's D with 5 strings. Still sounds great. So either one. The way I'm muting the big string now is I'm letting my thumb pop up over the top there, the edge of the neck, and it's going to mute the side of that string right there. So I'm covering my bases. So now I can still strum all 6 strings. Okay, but notice my third finger has not moved. So let's recap that. We got G, lift the pinky, the little finger. Move fingers 1 and 2, 1 string each. There's C Cadd9. Now go to D. You just shift your index finger and bend your second finger a lot. Okay? And we got D. So far, so good. Okay? Now the hard part for everybody when they start off is playing a song and getting from one chord to another on time. You know, they get this thing where they go... And it sounds like somebody keeps hitting the pause button, right? Okay, so we don't want that. So here's how we're going to fix that. I promise this works. I've been teaching for 400 years. No, I've been teaching since 1993, to be exact. September the 23rd of 1993, I do believe it was. So I've done this a lot. I swear it works. Okay, so here's what you're going to do. Got a couple things. The first thing is we're going to take fingers 1 and 2, all right, with the G chord, all right. We got that G chord without using the pick yet, okay. Just look at those fingers, you know, and just pick them up and put them right back where they were. Move that camera a little bit now so you can see up here. All right, so now we're going to pick them up and put them right back where they were. And if you can kind of like throw them down on those 2 strings where they kind of make sound like that, that's good. But it doesn't have to be. It might be kind of soft right now, right? Okay? Now, the reason for this is that picking your fingers up is the easy part. Putting them back or putting them wherever you want them is the hard part, right? So we're just telling our hand, look, this is where these fingers go, right? That's it. So all we're doing is we're telling our hand, this is what you got to do. And you're just kind of like taking a second to feel, you know, figure out what that feels like, right? Then, when you think you got it, or you got bored, I don't know, right? Now we're going to take the pick, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to play down and up. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. It could be fast or slow. Probably slow is better, right? No faster than what I just played. Okay, and I'm actually going to slow it down. Okay, but you're going to do all that. But the trick is on the upstroke, I want you to lift those two fingers. So you always have to have those fingers on the guitar with the downstroke. The upstroke, those fingers come up. And there's some logic behind this, I promise. That's like long term, okay, not just for the lesson. All right, so here I go. I'm going to demonstrate with the G chord, lifting my finger on the upstroke. So I'm going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. All right. Now, next thing is, can we do that with C Cadd9? All right. So again, there's not much difference here, you know, so you can test those fingers and make sure they don't go to the two big strings, and make sure they go to the strings 4 and 5, you know, and then give it this number: down, up, down, up, down, up. We don't really care what the upstroke sounds like right now, and a lot of times there's, you know, there's no reason to care anyway what the upstroke sounds like. I can't talk and play in time, by the way. It throws off my rhythm. It's a nightmare. Okay, so that's C Cadd9. Now, everybody has problems with one or two of these chords usually when they do this at first. Okay, but don't let it bother you. Just stay on it. But I say that because usually it's the D chord that people have the most trouble with, because it's, you know, we're going to do this thing again. You're going to look at your D chord, look at those same two fingers, because notice the third finger is not moved at all the whole time, right? You're going to take fingers 1 and 2, and you're going to lift those and put them right back where they were. And, you know, I can see in my monitor here, it looks like, it looks worse than it is, really. Or maybe I'm exaggerating, but, you know, usually my finger, those two fingers stay pretty close together. The thing that a lot of people do is that when they lift their fingers go bam, like way out there, man. They're just gone. You know, they're out of town. All right, so what we need to do is reel them back in, right? So sometimes it helps to think like I'm not moving my finger off of the string or whatever, but I'm just kind of just releasing the pressure, just enough that my finger leaves the string, and that's it. You're not like getting them out of town, right? We don't need that because we got to come right back. So when those two fingers feel like they're pretty okay, and if your fingers are about the right size, you know, you might be able to like make sure that they still touch when you pick them up and you put them back, and then they hit, you know, they lean on each other, you know. So I'm gonna do the same thing. Down, up. Okay, down and up. Fingers up on the upstroke, fingers down on the downstroke. If you can do that with each one of those chords, okay, then the next thing, of course, is to try doing it like switching, because that's what we're trying to do. C Cadd9, D, C Cadd9, back to G, C Cadd9, there's D again, there's C Cadd9 again. Alright, and that is the basic idea of like learning to switch chords straight out of the gate as a beginner guitar student. Okay. Now I said something about logic, and we'll wrap it up after that. But the logic is that there's times in songs where you just a lot of songs can be going too fast that you just can't switch from one chord to the next. You know, like hold that one chord all the way through all 4 beats, and then magically be on, or however many beats, right? But be on the next chord right when you're supposed to be there. You kind of have to like bail out the last part of that chord to be on the next chord. You can't be late, you know. for the C chord, you know, the C Cadd 9. And so what I noticed is a lot of people, we let go of some of the strings. This hand never stops. This hand always has the rhythm. And this hand always has to keep up. It's always that way. This is your drummer, and this locks in with whoever the real drummer is, right? That's the way it goes. If you don't have a drummer, you're the drummer. This hand is your drummer, okay? This guy, steady, always going. This hand has to keep up with that hand. Okay, so that's the logic. And, you know, I mean, that really should get you going. I've seen this work a billion times, man. Literally a billion times. I mean, I forget how many lessons I've taught. And most of them are beginning guitar students over the years, of course, right? You know. So if you like this lesson, hit subscribe, ring the bell. You'll get some updates as new videos pop up. And if you're really interested in learning how to play the guitar, go to my website, go to Brockguitar.com and look for the lesson package called The Absolute Guitarist and snag that sucker. It's not highly priced or anything. Tons of lessons and still updating it. So there's a lot there. You can just browse through it, and this lesson is in there. There's many others, but it's all about going from beginner to intermediate and then maybe slightly advanced. Okay, but this will get you started. Brockguitar.com. Go check it out. The Absolute Guitarist. And I'll see you in the next one.